Hello everyone, this is the radio station of the American University of Iraq in Baghdad at 101.5. I'm your host Humam, and this is another episode with a moment with a faculty radio show. And today we're going to be speaking about the student services and specifically the Academic Writing Center. Today I have a very special guest, Mr. Matthew Graham, the director of the Academic Writing Center. Mr. Matthew, I'm very happy to have you here in our studio. Before we get started in our main topic, could you just introduce yourself to the people who don't know you?
Thank you very much for having me. As you said, my name is Matthew Graham. I'm the director of actually all of student services, Academic Writing Center being one of them. I've been here at the university since February as we started the Department of Student Services. So it's a new department both here at the university and in Iraq as a whole. And as we really talk about the Academic Writing Center, you're really going to see how it's a very specialized service, for our students, and again, something very new for the region, as a whole in higher education.
Yeah, that is something new in Iraq. I've never heard of such a thing like the Academic Writing Center. At the moment that I heard that we're opening this center here at AUIB, I just realized what the Academic Writing Center. For the people who don't know what is the Academic Writing Center, could you please give us a brief introduction and the mission of the Academic Writing Center here at AUIB?
Yeah, no problem. So the Academic Writing Center is part of what we consider student services and overall student support, right? So with a lot of the Western style universities, there's a lot of student services and student support. It's not just in the classroom, but it's also that extra support outside of the classroom. So the Academic Writing Center was really designed to give the students that extra support on, for this, specifically academic writing. It's not just normal English writing. It is a style of academic writing. Just like within Arabic, there's a difference between just normal conversational Arabic and the academic history within Arabic scholarship. Same thing with academic writing within English. Academic Writing Centers is something that are very common in many universities in the United States, or just North America and the West as a whole, because even as someone with a native speaker still needs an academic writing center. It's still you need those skills for communicating on that scholarly level. It's more than just the normal conversational English that you pick up. It is another skill set.
Definitely. So why it is important to have an academic writing center here at AUIB, and what difference does it make?
So it really shows this sort of focus on scholarship, right? Many of our students are taking classes not just in English, but law, business. Writing and being able to express yourself correctly and professionally is important for almost all disciplines, right? So this Academic Writing Center takes what you're learning in the classroom and helps support that. We're support of the academic classes. We're not doing classes. This isn't a course you sign up for. This is that added support for those individuals that need it, and most people will need it at some point. Again, it's not something, I'm failing, I need to go to the Academic Writing Center. No, it's not like that. It's really designed to be a supplement to the classes, to really have people working on their assignments. So you come in, let's say you're in one of your English classes, you have an assignment that you're working on, and again, it's that academic writing style. So you know what your thoughts, you know what you want to say, but you need a little bit of help saying it in that professional or scholarly way. That scholarly way. Everything from proper citation, how to reference, like those resources.
Plagiarism.
All those sort of things, yeah. And it's not just an editing service. You don't come in, hand us your paper, and I'll come back in a couple hours, you can edit this for me. We pull out a red pen and fix everything.
You don't do it, you just provide guidance, right?
Yeah, and it's up to the students. It's like, hey, we kind of go through parts of the paper, things they're having issues and questions on, and we give that advice. It's like, hey, how about this, or a different way of wording this, or different structure. A lot of the times helping just with that format and structure. Again, academic writing is set up very differently than just that conversational English, and even different than if you just read some article online. A lot of those aren't even really in academic English sort of standard. So it is really helping them kind of bridge that gap from that conversational English to that more professional, or we say more scholarly way of writing.
Definitely. Let's dive deeper in our main topic about Academic Writing Center. What about the services that Academic Writing Center provides? For example, like weekly sessions, maybe workshops, one-to-one tutoring sessions. Could you tell me about it?
Or D, all of the above. So one of the main focuses is that one-on-one sessions. You either do walk-ins or set an appointment, come in with an assignment, and go over with one of our tutors, either professional tutors, or we also have faculty members that will often work with the Academic Writing Center, helping students one-on-one. We also work sometimes within some of the classrooms, doing outreach and doing workshops and trainings with the students, maybe as part of their classes. So those are kind of the main ways of doing it. During the summer, we have some different services of maybe, because the summer semesters are much more condensed. For those listening who don't know, summer school, instead of having classes for 15, 16 weeks, twice a week, you have class every single day for 5 days a week. Things happen a lot faster. Things come at you fast. So we really help with some of that more expedited service of, maybe being able to send in your paper to help get some feedback, online as opposed to just in person. Because sometimes you have a much smaller time to get things done. But we try to be very flexible with the students, again, doing those walk-in sessions. Appointments are always best, obviously, because you usually come in, with an assignment. And these aren't 10, 15 minutes. You really sit down and go over things. It's also not supposed to really be a one-off. You don't just come in once and we never see you ever again.
You should,
it's
regularly.
It's part of that process. You bring your papers in, you learn more, and you get more advanced. So when you come in for your third or fourth paper, a couple classes down the line,
you're not progress.
Yeah, you make a lot of progress. You're not like, okay, I don't remember how to do citations correctly. We're past that multiple levels. That you're really working on structure and that critical thinking, past just is this where the period goes? How do I cite this correctly? Like you get past that, and so the longer you come, the more you're able to have that. And since you're working on an actual papers, that one-on-one, you can get a lot more out of it. Like the classes here are great. We have outstanding faculty, but the classes still have more than one person in it, right? So this really, for some students, it really helps to have that one-on-one time with something in front of them.
Definitely. I just heard about, public speaking. Is that part of Academic Writing Center? What do you do for students in terms of public speaking?
So formal public speaking is basically academic writing spoken as opposed to written. So the university here has public speaking classes, and that's something that through CAS, the College of Arts and Sciences, is really starting to push. So having those extra skills, again, public speaking is a very hard skill, even in your own native language.
Definitely.
If you ask people what some of the biggest things they fear in life, public speaking normally outranks death. Right? So you're more scared of doing public speaking than of dying.
Hundreds of people.
Facing hundreds of people, they do almost anything else. But that's a very important skill to have professionally. So helping them with their outlines, helping them practice, helping them, again, gain those skills. Because Academic Writing Center, it's trying to create, help students achieve better communications, both right now mostly focus on written, but also expanding that with the public, with that public speaking. Because again, you still have to organize your thoughts, do it in that professional scholarly way, but it's spoken as opposed to just written down.
Yeah, definitely. What kind of, when it comes to resources and support, what kind of resources and support systems are available to students who seek help at the center? Do you provide, for example, books or maybe online support?
Yeah. We have a collection of different types of resources, again, based on what the student is working on and what they need, right? We do try to tailor it to the student, but as we do say, every student is different. It's not that many different options, Students might have different things they need to be working on. So that's why we like students to come back, more than just once, because we can actually build on those skills. So there's a lot of resources out there, but sometimes it's harder for a student, especially if English is their second language, to wade through all those resources, right? This academic writing is something that's not just a theoretical thing. You need to actually be going through it, editing your own papers, working on it as an active skill, not a philosophy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and critical thinking and a lot of things. What about the future plans? Are there any upcoming initiatives or plans to expand the services here at AUIB?
Yeah. In the future, yes. As our population grows, as the student body grows, yes. One of the things you've actually already mentioned was expanding into that public speaking realm. As again, we're starting a lot more classes in public speaking. Again, because we feel that's a critical skill for the students. Again, not just to be able to communicate casually in English, but more formally and be more comfortable with that sort of stuff. So that's some of the more shorter and midterm sort of things. And again, we like to always add more workshops, more outreach to the classes. And different classes have different kind of styles of writing, like based on the subject. So if you're
Definitely.
working on something more of a literary critique, within literature,
Or maybe
that's
business.
yeah,
or-
exactly, writing a business plan. Both can be, more
Different.
formal writing, but it's different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
And then, with all law.
The interpretation is different and everything out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then again, let's look at the College of Law, how they're writing briefs, how they're writing those sort of critiques within law. Again, a different sort of style.
And how
Right.
public speaking is important for the law students
Yes,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah.
So really expanding the Academic Writing Center, again, it's always going to be the main focus on the academic writing, but really expanding that, again, with some of the public speaking, and then making sure that we're working with the faculty well to make sure we're able to support, the students that are doing those business plans, those students in the law center and law college of law, that are working on like law cases. So it's not always the exact same type of writing, but it all comes as part of that academic writing, or again, that scholarly, more professional writing.
Definitely. Academic Writing Center is part of the Student Services Department. What about the other services aside from the Academic Writing Center? I've heard like mathematics and something like that.
Yeah, so we have the Academic Writing Center, and we also have the Math Center, which is a lot of the same things I was just talking about, but on the math side. Not as much paper writing or editing, obviously, but it's that support for students that are going through the different math classes. Right. So math is notoriously hard in whatever language you're doing it in, native language or not.
Regardless.
Yes. So a lot of math, just like with academic writing, it takes practice. You can't just theoretically understand math. You need the problems in front of you. You need to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So again, we do one-on-one sessions. We do group sessions. Again, working very closely with the math classes here, the math courses, really kind of supporting. If you're trying to do your homework and you have absolutely no idea and you're just staring at the page because these aren't even numbers at this point, you do sometimes need that extra help to really work through that.
And again, you're not solving the equation itself. You're just providing guidance, right?
Yes. And things with math, getting the answer is important, but knowing how you got that answer is the main focus.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Right? This is not. It's already paid for. This is a service of the university. As an active student, UG student, you're able to use these services, right? So it's important. It's one of the things when we first got here and we're doing some of the outreach, I didn't think about bringing up, because for me, coming from the Western mindset, well, of course, it's a student service that's happening on campus. Students ask, oh, how much does this cost, or how do we sign up and pay for it? It's like, no,
this is for free.
You sign up and then you come, and they kind of look at you funny a little bit, sort of, again, because it's that cultural mindset. Again, a lot of people, a lot of countries in the world, a lot of that extra tutoring, extra help is big business in a lot of parts of the world.
Definitely.
For here, it is something that we've decided to put our money where our mouth is and to have that as an actual service. Those are actual services on campus.
Definitely. Well, last but not least, what do you want to add about the Academic Writing Center, or maybe an advice that you want to provide for students?
Right. So one of the kind of the unofficial motto for student services as a whole, it's empowering students every step of the way. Not telling them what to do, not forcing them to do, empowering, meaning giving them the tools, but they need to make that step. If you're writing papers and you're getting C's and you're not coming to the writing center, you've decided to keep making C's. You've decided to get a C in math, right? So we give you this opportunity for you to decide to do better, to decide to take really control of your academic career and make those steps. It is hard. It's like, well, I'm taking 5 classes. I don't want to do anything else that's college related. Well, you literally signed up for this, right?
But you need help anyways.
Yeah, and the thing is, I don't want to say it just as help. Everyone needs some of that extra help and support, right? If you're acing all your math classes and you have A+ and everything, you probably don't need to go to the math center. But for the majority of us, every now and then it's not. Do a review session, get a couple of your friends together to do a review session before the test with a math tutor, spend 30 or 45 minutes going through stuff. Most likely than not is going to increase those grades. Same thing for your papers. If you're okay getting B- and C's in your papers, have fun. You're pass.
Enjoy.
Enjoy your pass. But if you really want to take those step ups, especially if you're wanting to do something after your undergraduate degree. If you want to be doing master's or even doctoral degrees, that ability to write formally and scholarly is going to be one of the things you're going to have to do.
And you're going to be facing definitely.
And you'll be facing it. So don't wait until the very end to realize.
Be prepared in advance.
Yeah. So start that journey now. You're going to get some better grades along the way. And then when you're doing these, dissertations or thesis that are 30, 40, 100 pages long, you have some idea what you're doing. It's not all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is real. Let us start working with you, as we go, to hopefully get you better prepared for it. But like I said, we can't make the students do it. We don't nab you off the street, throw you in the back of a van, and then throw you into the math center to be like, do your math homework. We don't. Thought about it, but we don't.
Yeah.
It is students who need to make that decision to again take control of their own academic journey and get that extra assistance.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for today's conversation. I really enjoyed it, and it is very informative, and I really look forward to having you again in the studio.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.